If there is something that keeps physicists awake at night, it has to be vacuum decay, a phenomenon that could potentially wipe out the whole universe including us. So what's this vacuum stuff, and why is it so dangerous? The universe isn't habitable at all, it's just that we happen to be in a suitable system at a safe distance from our star inside a breathable atmosphere. But that's not the whole story. Quantum fields which dictate the properties of space are what truly allow us to exist. More on that in a moment. And there is something which could rewrite those properties. Vacuum decay. A bubble of doom. A very powerful shockwave that propagates at the speed of light and erases anything and everything in its path. Quantum fields are a sophisticated way of describing particles like electrons and photons as interconnected entities. Forces of course can move through these fields, making them an important framework of the universe itself. Like everything in nature, a quantum field really likes to return to its equilibrium point. It wants to settle down on a state of low energy. For most fields, this equilibrium is where the field's value is zero. Essentially, these fields prefer to be turned off when not disturbed. There is, however, an exception to this rule. The Higgs field responsible for given particles' mass likes to settle at a positive value, but that's not all. The Higgs field might have more than a value. One of them is the true vacuum, the universe we live in. The other is the false vacuum, a metastable state, meaning it will remain stable as long as the field doesn't deem it as a more stable state and somehow shift into it. Scientists actually don't know which of the two states the universe is in right now. This uncertainty leads to two possible scenarios. The optimistic one is that the Higgs field is in the true vacuum, and even if it somehow goes into the other state, it will likely go back to the previous one without any harm done. The second scenario, however, is what keeps some people awake at night. What if the universe is in the false vacuum? In this case, there is an extremely small but non-zero chance that quantum tunneling could push the field into the true state. This will create a bubble that has an advantage over its surroundings as it occupies the better state. So what's going to happen is this tiny bubble will infect the whole fields around it, because they too prefer the true state. And if it reaches a certain size without collapsing back to the previous state, this bubble will keep on growing and expanding with the speed of light. It will drag everything throughout the universe and convert its field into the true vacuum. And since the Higgs field is responsible for giving particles their mass, rewriting it would change the laws of physics at a fundamental level, preventing life and effectively ending the universe. By the way, the Higgs field isn't the only field suspected to be in a false vacuum. Other quantum fields could also shift into their true vacuum states at any time, changing the universe in weird ways very difficult to imagine. But before you start losing sleep, here is some reassurance. The universe has existed for at least 13.8 billion years without a vacuum decay event. All of these false vacuum events won't probably happen for an insane amount of time, even though there is a very small chance it could happen in the next 5 minutes. But don't underestimate the size of the universe, because even if it does happen, it might take an eternity to reach us.